Before the video starts, I just want to let you guys know that over 90% of you watching this video aren't even subscribed to the channel. So if this is something you like, basketball related content, then be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss an upload. And also please be sure to turn on your notifications so you don't miss an upload. And also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like. That makes a big difference in helping this channel grow. With that being said, back to the video. What's going on, guys? So today I wanted to talk about the MVP race because it's a very interesting one this year. And if you talk to a lot of people who follow the NBA regularly or just watch it even casually, their MVP race usually for the past few years, and I talked about this in the mid-season video that I did, but there's always a clear MVP frontrunner, right? Like last year and even the year before, Giannis was the clear frontrunner for the MVP, so him winning wasn't a surprise. Same thing with James Harden, same thing with Westbrook, same thing with Curry twice, and you can go back and back. The MVP, it's never an easy race, but you can tell who the frontrunner is most years, right? And this year is very different, and it could be very interesting and very, very controversial this season who wins the MVP, because the amount of guys that you can make a case for, it is surprising. I have never seen an MVP race this competitive ever, honestly. Like, yeah, just thinking about it, honestly, there aren't any MVP races in my recent memory that have multiple guys that you can make a genuine case for and that can genuinely win the award. So, you know, this season earlier and up to, you know, the All-Star break, I had Joel Embiid as my frontrunner. I had him as the MVP in my video. And if you talk to a lot of guys, and even if you look at the MVP ladder on NBA.com, it was clear that Joel Embiid was going to be the frontrunner for the MVP. He was putting up incredible numbers, the best in his career, playing the best basketball, so impactful for his team. They're winning games. They're the best team in the East. So the case there was, you know, the case was there for him. And it wasn't, you know, far and away like it, you know, usually is. But the frontrunner spot for him was there. But obviously, it wasn't as clear cut, right? Because LeBron was right there. Nikola Jokic was right there. So, to me, that was my three. Basically, for most of this season, up until the All-Star break. But ever since James Harden came to the Brooklyn Nets, the numbers he's been putting up and the impact he's had on that team, I knew he'd do very well for that team. Because the thing is, he wanted to be there. So if he wanted to be there, that means he wanted to adjust his game and play the way he wanted to, and play the way the team wanted to win games, because that's what he wanted at the end of the day. So him doing as well as he did isn't surprising for me, but the stuff he's doing right now is incredible. And a lot of people, and including myself, I wouldn't have given the MVP award to anyone on the Brooklyn Nets because they're a big three with superstars. I don't think you can really give a most valuable player award to a guy who's on a team with two other superstars, right? Like, I don't think that really works, and I don't really think that there's a case to be considered the most valuable, right? So that was originally what my case was, but watching James Harden do what he's done, especially with Kevin Durant not playing for the past few weeks and him not playing for probably another few weeks, unreal. The amount of 15 out of the last 16 games they've played. So everything he's done has just been on another level. So, you know, James Harden has a very good case to be the MVP. You know, especially if the Nets get the first seed in the East, I think there's a serious conversation to have him as the MVP. And then if he doesn't win it at that point, it could be very controversial. And that's going to be the way it is for all these teams, because like I said, you have Jokic, Embiid, and LeBron. Those three are my top, right? And for LeBron, I thought he'd be the MVP because after Anthony Davis got hurt, he would really take over. And in the beginning, I didn't really see it because the Lakers had a bit of a rough patch, but they've gotten their way back. And LeBron's, again, he's been playing terrific. So him winning the MVP is going to be always a conversation because, you know, year after year, it is surprising he's only won 4 MVPs in his entire career, and he hasn't won one since 2013. when he has had multiple years that you can consider to be MVP seasons, right? So him winning the MVP this year would be very, like, it wouldn't be surprising at all. Would it be controversial? For sure, 100%. But that's going to be how all these guys are. So like I said, Embiid, LeBron, Jokic. I talked about James Harden. I did talk about Steph Curry originally because he's just putting up the best numbers I've ever seen. His, overall numbers for the season are very close to what he had in that year that he won unanimously in 2016. So I thought that he had a case. But problem is, winning is very important if you want to be the MVP, except for in rare cases. So, with the Warriors probably not even going to make the playoffs. They're going to be in the play-in game probably, but then who knows what's going to happen from there. I just don't see him winning it. So I thought that maybe, it would be there, but I just don't see Steph doing it again this year. But that's another guy I talked about. Damian Lillard has made an incredible case this year for MVP. I mean, this is the best season I've seen from him, and probably, I don't know what his numbers are, and honestly they don't even matter. I'm sure that his numbers right now are the best in his career, but the impact he's had on that team, and they're a solid team in the West. They're not like they're not a fringe playoff team. They're not in the bottom like 7-8. They're, I think, 5th or 6th, so they're not even in play-in territory. So and he's had to do that all without his most valuable guys. He's had to do that without Nurkic. He's had to do it without Zach Collins. He's had to do it without CJ McCollum, who just came back like this week. So for him to be propelling his team to win games and to have such an impact on that team the way he has the perfect definition of the most valuable player. Because what is that team without Damian Lillard, right? That team is probably not even a playoff team. But then for him to be on that team and to have the incredible amount of impact that he has, it's he has a very strong case. The game winners, the Dame time daggers, again and again and again every game, it adds up more. The numbers he puts up, he had, I think, a 50 bomb the other day. So yeah, his numbers are the best. He's had such an incredible impact on this team and doing so well despite the other injuries to his teammates. So Damian Lillard has an incredible case this year, and it makes me think that he will win one day. I don't think it's going to be this year. I think he'll get first team this year. But in terms of winning actual MVP, if I had to bet, I just don't see him winning. But there's going to be a very good case for him. So I wouldn't rule him out, though. That's for sure. Who else could I talk about? Oh, there's 2 more guys. Giannis. So look, the thing with Giannis is he's won it 2 years in a row. So automatically voter fatigue is probably going to knock him off the rankings again. So, I mean, that's not surprising either. Voter fatigue is a real thing. LeBron won it in 2009 and 2010, and LeBron could have won it again in 2011, but Derrick Rose won it. Same thing in 2012 and 2013. LeBron could have won it again in 2014, but Kevin Durant won it. So voter fatigue is a real thing. Same thing with Steph. He won it twice. So I just don't see him winning it this year, but the numbers he's putting up, the way the Bucks are playing right now, especially how the season started for them, because they were not on a good start, right? They looked very weak. I was saying that the coach Budenholzer would have to be fired like right away, because that's just how that team is. Like, the team is so good, and they're too good to be doing as bad as they were in the beginning of the season, but they've picked it up. They've had big games. They beat the Sixers the other day. Giannis took over in overtime, and if the Bucks continue to win the way they are, they're on a winning streak right now. And hey, what if the Bucks win, the East? Like, what if they get the first seed in the East? That's very possible, because the Sixers without Embiid have started to lose a little bit of ground. The Nets are right there, and the Bucks are just right behind them too. So, the gap between the top 3 isn't that much. So a good winning streak and Giannis's continuing high level of play can easily bring them up to the first seed. So if that happens, could Giannis win 3 years in a row? I mean, it'd be hard not to deny him that, especially if he continues to play the way he is, and if the Bucks continue to win the way they are. Is the PJ Tucker edition going to help them win more games? We'll see, but Giannis has another incredible case this year. So, everyone has that voter fatigue, and that's going to be real, but Giannis can very well win it again this year, and it wouldn't surprise me at all. So I've talked about a lot of guys. Oh, I completely forgot one other guy who I don't think is going to win it, but he's made a case this year, and it makes the race very interesting. Jimmy Butler. Now look, the Heat were terrible at the start of the season. I think that's fair to say. A lot of people can agree with that, right? The Heat were very bad in the beginning of this year. They lost very important games, and the conversation was, hey, look, they went to the finals last year. That environment was good for them, but after that, outside of the bubble, the Heat are not a finals team. They're not even a deep playoff team, so they shouldn't even be considered. And that's the conversation that we had when the Heat were in that position. But to be fair, Jimmy Butler was missing a lot of time. I mean, he had COVID, and a bunch of other guys on that team were either had COVID or they were, in and out of quarantine, missing, a week or two of play. So the Heat were never at full strength all the time. So that was never a real conversation to have, especially with Jimmy Butler, because he missed time. But since he came back, look, this is the weirdest thing, but I don't know what it is, but did Jimmy Butler get better after getting COVID? The weirdest thing. He's played incredible in this recent stretch after the All-Star break, and on top of that, the Heat are winning. They went from 10th or 11th in the East to 4th. They shot up to 4th. So, look, the Heat have a good case. They're winning games right now. Jimmy Butler has proven just how valuable he is because they're trash without him, and him being back from injury has brought them up to one of the top spots in the East. So Jimmy Butler has an incredible case. I don't know if he's going to win it this year. I don't think so because he's missed too much time. But yeah, I mean, just think of all the guys I listed, and all of them have a case to win MVP this year. And especially with Embiid being hurt and missing time, does his chances of winning MVP dwindle? Does it mean that other guys are going to have another chance to rise up? Because the MVP ladder on the NBA's website, I don't trust that all the time, but the way they have it right now is, I don't have it off the top of my head, but I think they have Jokic at 1, which doesn't surprise me. Then they have Damian Lillard at 2, just shot up to 2 this week, which I get. The best, he's been unbelievable this week, so him shooting up to 2 isn't surprising. Then they have Giannis at 3. So think about that. They were not even in, those 3 guys were not in the top 3 with the exception of Jokic. None of them were in the top 3 until just this week, because for the longest time it was either Jokic, LeBron, or Embiid, and they were all, going back and forth between 1 and 3. But then Damian Lillard comes in, Giannis comes in, James Harden comes in. So this is going to be a very interesting MVP race, and whoever wins it, it's going to be a controversy. Twitter's going to blow up, the internet is going to blow up, and I feel bad for the media because they're the ones who vote for MVP, and because there's no clear-cut winner, whoever wins, it's going to be a very interesting conversation and a very interesting reaction from the NBA community when, the MVP is announced. So, yeah, I feel bad for these media people because they're not going to have a clear pick, so they can't just save face. But also to their benefit, even if the guy they pick doesn't win, they have a good case for all these guys that I just talked about today. So, yeah, this MVP race is so interesting to me, and I really, it moves week to week. So the top 3 that we have this week, it's probably not even going to be the same this week. And who knows if AD comes back from injury? Does that change things for LeBron? If Embiid comes back and he plays well, does that change things for him? So it'll be very interesting to see what happens for the rest of the season. This MVP race is so fascinating, man. I honestly like the chaos. So no matter who wins, I don't really care who wins. To me, my front runner right now is probably going to be LeBron, just based off of everything. But, whoever wins, it's going to be madness. And I honestly can't wait for the chaos. All right, I think I got my point across today. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy, please be sure to leave a like and comment down below. I'm very curious to hear what you guys think about this MVP race. This is so interesting to me. Who do you have as the MVP right now? and who are, like, what do you think about the guys that I talked about, right? Do you think they all have genuine cases to win MVP this year? And yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'm very curious. And if you haven't already, please be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so that you don't miss an upload. And yeah, thank you guys always for your continuous support, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.